Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Divine Feminine Healers Podcast. It is your host, Angelica, spiritual entrepreneur and intuitive healer. And today on the podcast, I'm going to dive into everything there is about being a Vata entrepreneur and how you can stay consistent. I work with a lot of Vata entrepreneurs who can relate to feeling very creative and artistic and like to be in the flow. However, when it comes to owning their business and getting clear on their goals and executing them and executing their ideas and their projects, sometimes they feel defeated and they fall short. So, I'm going to share with you what helped me stay consistent as someone who relates to being a Vata entrepreneur at times and give you the exact action steps that I take to stay consistent while also maintaining my own creativity in my business. But before we get into that, I do want to update everyone on the current energy. So we are still in eclipse season, which started with the lunar eclipse on the new moon, and it's going to bookend on the solar eclipse, which we have on Halloween, October 31st, and that's going to be a full moon. So during eclipse cycles, there can be a lot of changes that are coming forward. It can feel like our ground underneath us is shifting at a very high rate. And for some of us, this can come in the form of new insights and ideas. And we get these very light bulb moments of like, oh my gosh, I finally found the solution to that obstacle I've been spinning my wheels on for the past months, years. So it's definitely a time of change and transformation, but that only occurs if you're taking the time to really go inward and to do this self inquiry, like listening to podcasts and journaling and taking time to do self care practices to really see what are the changes and the shifts that are happening. For some of us, it's going to feel even jarring or it's going to feel intense. And for other of us, depending on where our birth chart is in relation to these eclipse cycles, it'll feel more gentle, it'll feel more subtle, but super important just to really get clear on what is changing right now in my life and just kind of taking a step back and observing. So, a lot of times when we get these new ideas, we really want to act on them, but actually, now is the best time to allow those ideas to finish and to continue percolating because so much is shifting that more may come to light that is going to complete that story. So hang tight, sending everyone lots of loving energy during this time. I know it's also a crazy time in the world and it can feel like there's chaos ensuing everywhere. And I know when I feel like I'm totally out of control with the external world, finding my own inner peace and tending to myself is the utmost of importance. So I hope everyone is taking care of themselves right now. And I have a few exciting events coming up for those who are looking for this deeper inquiry. Those who are living in Los Angeles, I have an Ayurvedic dinner party coming up on Saturday, November 4th. I'm so excited for it. It's a 4-course meal, all going to be geared around Vata season. And I just released the menu on my Instagram. I'm so excited, so I'll share it with you all. We are going to have adaptogenic stuffed dates for our appetizers, as well as a medley of vegetables with hemp infused oil, which we are actually sourcing from a local farmer and friend who uses regenerative farming techniques. I'm so excited to try. Then for our main dish, we'll be making butternut khichdi, and this is going to also have a toppings bar. So depending on your dosha, you get to kind of just customize your plate based on what dosha you are looking to heal. And then of course we're having dessert. It's going to be a pumpkin spice cacao pudding. Oh my goodness. Plus you're going to have a welcome tonic. Plus you're going to have herbal tonics to drink throughout the evening. And everyone's going to walk away with an Ayurvedic luxury self-care bag from my favorite Ayurvedic small business female owned brands. These are the brands that I use every single day. I am so excited that they are going to be sponsoring the event and sharing all their beautiful products with us. So again, this is all geared around Vata season. So it's going to be skincare that you need to keep your skin really luscious and smooth during Vata season, for example. And oh my gosh, all their products smell so good. So I'm so excited for everyone to get those. If you want to sign up with the link in the show notes, tickets are going very, very fast and we have limited space. It's going to be in Silverlake and it's going to be such a special evening. So I hope you all can make it. And for those who are not local to LA, I am also hosting a Vata Masterclass for spiritual entrepreneurs. That's going to be Wednesday, November 1st. This will be recorded if you cannot make it live, but if you can make it live, there'll be a special surprise for you. And I'm going to dig into what this masterclass is going to be on a little bit more later on this podcast. But all in all, if you feel like you need to get grounded and organized and focused in your business, this is definitely the class for you. I'm going to be sharing very clear action steps that you feel very secure and confident going into Vata season with your business. Alrighty, so let's get into this. What does it actually mean to be a Vata entrepreneur? So a lot of entrepreneurs relate to Vata energy because they're creatives. I mean, you have to be a creative in order to be an entrepreneur, right? You had this pioneering idea, you're bringing this uniqueness to the space. Of course, you're going to have so many of these ideas. And I find that a lot of healers relate to the Vata dosha because they're used to really being in this feminine energy of being in the flow and having these ideas and being an artist in a lot of different ways. I really feel like healers are artists in that way. However, when this energy is not grounded, sometimes we miss the mark. We don't have goals, we don't set them. We feel like we're flying at the seat of our pants. Like our to-do list is just like keeps piling up and it feels like we're not making any leeway anywhere. It kind of feels like our rooms and our papers are flying everywhere. Like there's no organization. And then we can feel defeated if we're like, gosh, I wanted this goal and I'm still not there yet. Like, what is happening with me? And the truth is not that you're not capable of succeeding with that goal. For Vatas, it's all about balancing that beautiful flowy energy that you have and learning how to ground, structure, and organize it, which I'm going to share with you how to do that today. So first, let's talk about why Vatas like to be unorganized and why they don't like to follow the rules and they don't like to follow structure. Well, think about it. Think about your whole life, especially when I think about some of my friends who are super, super Vata, like one of my best friends who is a fashion designer. Her whole life is her constantly having to defend herself for beating to the beat of her own drum. She's always chosen a different path, whether that was the clothes she was literally wearing to school and people judging her for it, or going to school for fashion design and her parents being like, is this really what you want to be doing? Like, Vata's got that pushback and resistance their whole life for being different. And although something very loud deep down inside of them was always like, nah, this is what you're meant to be doing. Don't even think about doing something stereotypical that everyone else is doing. That's going to feel yucky. However, there's something to be said. When you're constantly being pushed up against these roadblocks, it makes you more resilient, yes, but it also makes you doubt yourself, especially when it's people that are close to you. You think, gosh, can I really be a successful XYZ? Do I really need to trust my own intuition here? Or should I be listening to other people? Am I crazy, berserk, out of my mind, too out there? You name it. These are the typical judgments that Vatas get. So needing to be different became so important to you because somewhere down the line you realized, oh my gosh, of course I have to be the different one. Of course I have to be the artist or the healer. Can you even imagine if I was in a 9 to 5 job working in a cubicle? Like some of you probably even tried that and was like, that was not me. And either you got sick in your body or there was some other loud messages where you're like, So then it becomes so important that you continuously always follow this authentic path and you're always different in every situation throughout your whole entire life. And any single time that gets jeopardized, you get angry because you're so passionate about being different. And that's good. That's what boundaries are. Boundaries is when you get angry about something and that anger can turn into, it's really coming from passion. So you're passionate about being different and authentic and you hold your own. Now, where this begins to be a problem is when you finally get to start your own business and you're like, freedom, I don't have to talk to and listen to anyone else. I can just follow my own ideas. I cannot wait to bring them into fruition. And then you realize, oh, why isn't it happening? I have all these ideas, a million ideas, but I have no idea which one to act on first. Or I'm trying to get all of these ideas going at once and it just feels like I get dead ends, or I'm trying one idea and then I get another idea. So I want to jump on that idea. Like it just feels really difficult to make things happen and to get to the goals that you really want. So, what do? We apply the principles of Ayurveda here, the law of opposites. So, for example, my Vatas, I know you know how to heal your body. When you feel dry, constipated, have insomnia, you feel chaotic and organized, you know how to heal yourself. The best way is going to be through structure and organization. You need to get on top of your morning routine, on your eating habits, eating at the same times every day, eating the same portions, making sure that you're having proper amount of time in between each of your meals, chewing your food thoroughly, sitting down when you're eating. These type of things build structure and organization and make you feel so good in your body. Well, let's just apply those principles, but now to your business. So, all that flowy creative energy, let's keep that. We want that. But you need some type of structure and organization. Now, the reason why you resist that organization and structure is because somehow in our minds, we think that that is that person trying to strip away our authenticity. We think that there is someone who is saying, the only way you're going to be successful is if you work a 9 to 5, if you, I don't know, only work with Excel sheets or whatever your belief that you constructed of what structure and goal and organization looks like. You feel like that is going to confine you. When the reality is, you are the CEO of your own business. You do not need to follow anyone else's structure. You are the CEO. However, you do need some type of structure. You need something to actually execute your goals. So it's all about finding your unique way of being inconsistent. But first, you got to realize why you like to be inconsistent. And it's simply just because you are different and you love to be authentic. So, how can we channel that energy differently? Well, write down all of your ideas. Make sure that you actually are being really authentic and you're nurturing that part of you. And then let's actually have a structure. Let's create goals that feel like they're coming from an intuitive place. They're not coming from, I know we need to be doing this, or this coaching program that I did told me that I'll be successful if I create an offering like this. Throw that out the window. But why can't you create goals and offerings that are based on your unique blueprint? This is what I do with all of my clients. I am such a firm believer in that each business is so unique that I don't have a template. I don't have a perfect structure for how you need to grow your business or start your business. That just never resonated with me. I'm all about you finding your unique way. And it really is all just understanding your energy type and getting to work with your unique gifts and skills. So, first things first, understand the why you like to be inconsistent. And then the second thing is, how can you be uniquely consistent for your business? What kind of goals can you set for yourself that feel fun? And a lot of times I hear, I don't set goals because I just follow my intuition. I get it. Following your intuition is so important for your business. You need that. So let's have that in there. However, you also need goals. Otherwise, you're never going to know if you need to refine something. If you need to say, oh, hey, you know what? This actually isn't working. There needs to be some type of measurement and metrics in your business to tell you what's not working and what is. And I see this resistance a lot in Vatas because they don't want to feel the shame and the guilt when something did not work. And I'm only speaking from experience. I resisted reflecting in my business and seeing what didn't work because I didn't want to face the hard truths that I made a mistake. And the thing is, once you can finally accept it, you realize, was that really a mistake, or did I actually need to go through that mud because now I'm stronger and now I learned what didn't work? How else would I have known if I didn't actually try those things in the first place? It becomes a silly thought anyways. So you need some form of measurement, and that's why I love setting goals intuitively for where you actually want to be. And you do it intuitively, right? You do this from a place of creativity, a place that gives you freedom rather than restriction. Then throughout the way, when you're doing your goals, you can leave room for that wiggle. You leave room for the universe to speak and say, oh, actually, yeah, I do want to shift a little bit here, but I'm still within this structure that I have so that I can feel organized and I can feel like I'm actually moving the needle on things. So here are some of my favorite practices to stay consistent when I'm feeling extra Vata-y. And newsflash, we're in Vata season, so it's especially now where you're going to feel a little disorganized if you don't actually take the time to ground. So, one of my favorite practices is setting goals. And I love creating Excel sheets for this because I'm a very visual person, which a lot of Vatas can be. So, I like having it all in one place where I can see it. And I set my goals yearly, bi yearly, quarterly, and monthly and weekly. And these little markers help me to keep on track, because when you are in that Vata creative idea land, you're going to get a lot of new ideas that constantly come towards you. And it's super important that you have your goals to say, hey, I see that idea. Where can I put that in this 6-month or quarterly plan so that it makes sense and I can actually finish executing out that beautiful original idea that I really had that is going to really work. That's all that is for. It's just to keep you so grounded and firm into the earth so that your ideas can actually flourish and we can see these beautiful blooms come into fruition. Now, another practice that I love to do is taking the time each month to pause for reflection and for tuning into my intuition. So, when I pause for reflection, I do this weekly and I also do this monthly, and I look at the action steps that I took for the week and I use my metrics, whether that's my Instagram metrics or my email metrics, and I see what worked with my action plan and what did not work. And I simply love to just kind of observe this and take my ego completely out of it. There is nothing wrong with you. And don't take this part personally, because again, I'm just speaking from experience. But once you take your ego out of it, it becomes so simple. It's just like, oh, okay, yeah, that didn't really work. That didn't respond. Either I'm going to stick with it for another week or I'm going to ditch that and clear that off my plate. And that clearing is where a lot of the freedom comes from. A lot of the times, Vatas are just constantly trying all these ideas and then just moving on to the next idea without actually digesting why that idea in the past didn't work. So then we just keep recreating the same issues again and again and again. And that is just suffering, right? That is where the chaos really ensues. So I love doing this reflection, this cleanup work weekly and monthly, because it clears things off my plate that are not working anymore. I don't need to hold on to them anymore. Let go. And then it creates space for those new ideas to land and to really focus my energy on things that are actually working. This has been so important for my business, and taking this time for pause. Again, it's hard for Vata sometimes to pause because they love moving forward. They love that forward action. They love running on the tips of their toes. But that forward action is going to actually feel like you're moving through the mud eventually if you're not taking the time to pause and actually reflect on what's working and what's not. Lastly, what I love to do is taking time to tune into my intuition. Now, I do this every day just for myself, just to see what's going on in my spiritual world. But I love doing this for my business. And I do it at least once a month. I'll do a personal Reiki healing experience and I'll tune into my guides and get this observant insights into what I need to focus on in my business. And this is always really personal to your healing journey. So the ideas may seem like they're coming from left field sometimes. Like, I have an idea that'll come through and I'll be like, oh my gosh, no, that can't be true. Like, look at my goals right now. Look at where I am on track on. That can't be it. And the way that I communicate with my guides is I always ask them to show me 3 times that I know for sure and I get that validation. So sometimes you'll get insights and you just need some time to simmer with it and to really see if that's something that you want to act on. And other times I'll get an insight and I'll be like, oh my gosh, yes, that's that final key. That makes so much sense and it feels good in my body. That's another way that I know that it's really true, is because I'll test it out and how it feels in my body and it'll feel like a release, or it'll feel like, oh, I put the keyhole in and it actually makes sense. That was that last missing puzzle piece. So it's so important that you constantly tune into your intuition and you don't get caught up in the Excel sheets and your goals and your plans, because then you're missing all the fun part of your business. Then you're missing the real reason why you started the spiritual business in the first place, is because you're intuitive and you know exactly what your business needs when you are in that place of intuition and just following what your gut wants. So it's a balance here, right? Nurturing your Vata means setting your goals, setting your own unique structure, taking the time to reflect, clearing out what's not working anymore, focusing and organizing on what is, and then creating space for your intuition. Now, if this is feeling like, oh my gosh, this was so much, all at once. How do I actually put this into plan, into pen and paper? This is what my Vata Masterclass for Spiritual Entrepreneurs is all about. I'm going to take you through my 3-step process for how to clean everything up and get organized, and give you very tangible action steps that I take for my business that you can start doing for yours. Now, if you come to the live experience on Wednesday, November 1st at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we can work one-on-one together. You can get your live questions answered. So I do recommend coming, but if you cannot show up live, definitely still get the recording. It's only $33, and it's going to feel so beneficial to you, especially if you've been feeling like, I really want to plan, but I'm resisting any type of structure. Come to this class and you're going to be so profoundly changed at how simple and easy it can be to have a structure that actually feels good and gets to stoke and nurture your creativity. I'm so excited for that class, and I cannot wait to connect with all of you further there. All right, everyone. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your week. I will be talking about the eclipse cycle and the full moon in next week's podcast episode, but I hope everyone has a happy Halloween. I personally just love dressing up. I have a few custom ideas percolating. I'll see which one I jump on, and I'll be sure to share it with you all on my Instagram at Angelica_feminine_healer. It's my favorite time of year. I love dressing up. I always have since I was a little kid. So I hope you all are enjoying that part too. And there's so many beautiful rituals at the end of this month too in October. It's just like a great time to honor the dead and our ancestors. So take those times to go inward, and to stay with your spiritual practices. And for those who want to dive deeper, come to my Ayurvedic dinner party, or you can join the Vata Masterclass for Spiritual Entrepreneurs. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. I would love it if you commented, rated, and reviewed either on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And thank you so much for just being here. It's so lovely to connect with you in this way. And I will see you all next time.